Good afternoon. Today we are going to be reading through Chapter 5 of Dracula by Bram Stoker. Uh, did I say that right? Bram Stoker? I hope I did. Something about that sounds wrong. Anyway, we are not just going to read through the words, we're going to stop and talk about interesting vocabulary words. So, if you're an advanced learner of English, this is a good way to improve your vocabulary. So when we encounter an interesting word, we'll stop and talk about it, or an interesting phrase, we'll stop and talk about that. Also, though, because I'm doing this live, you can ask me questions in the chat as we go. I want you to ask questions in the chat. If you don't, then I will just stop sometimes when I think there's a useful word or a word that or a phrase that could be useful to you in your daily activities. But definitely ask. Don't think you're interrupting me. Okay, well, let's get started with Chapter 5 of Dracula. Letter from Miss Mina Murray to Miss Lucy Westenra. David Garcia says hello. Hi, David. Thanks for joining us today. 9th of May. My dearest Lucy, forgive my long delay in writing, but I have been simply overwhelmed with work. The life of an assistant schoolmistress is sometimes trying. I'm longing to be with you. Wait, who is this? From Miss Mina Murray to Miss Lucy Westerna. Okay, so this is the fiance of Jonathan writing to one of her friends, actually. Forgive my long delay in writing, but I have been simply overwhelmed with work. The life of an assistant schoolmistress is sometimes trying. When you say that something is trying, you probably know trying to mean attempting to do something. But if you describe an activity as trying, so for example, this person is saying being an assistant schoolmistress is trying, that means it's difficult, or it's stressful. It could mean stressful also. I think it comes from the phrase trying your nerves or trying your patience. And that means tempting your patience or testing your patience. But it just turns into an adjective, trying. Oh, I'm sorry I got angry with you. I had a trying day. That means I had a stressful day, a difficult day. I'm longing to be with you. We've seen that word longing many times. That means I want it with all of my heart. I'm longing to be with you. And by the sea, where we can walk together freely and build our castles in the air. I've been working very hard lately because I want to keep up with Jonathan's studies. I've been practicing shorthand very assiduously. Let's define the word assiduously. Not a terribly common word. With great care and dedication and persistence. That isn't a word that you would hear in everyday conversation, though, to be honest. All right, let's see. So I've been practicing shorthand very assiduously. When we're married, I shall be able to be useful to Jonathan. And if I can stenograph, well, so we've talked about shorthand before. That's a type of very quick writing that people used to learn so they could copy the words of someone as they were talking. I'll just show you. I mean, I've shown you before, but in case you haven't seen it. So before you had recorders and cameras and things like that, you had to learn every time I make the same mistake. I can't type and talk at the same time. Here we go. Okay. So before recorders and cameras and things like that, if somebody was talking and you wanted to make a record of the uh, the words the person was saying, there was a special way of writing, which was called shorthand, that you had to learn. And so these are very simple letters, so you could write very quickly, and you could copy the words that people were saying, uh, and they didn't have to speak slowly. And stenography is the art of being able to record very quickly, being able to write very quickly the words that people say. It's not really so important these days, but in the past that was a very useful skill. So Lucy is saying that I'm practicing shorthand. I'm practicing this system of writing because her fiance is a lawyer, and she's hoping that when they get married, she can be useful to him by helping him by recording the words that he says. Stenography. I've been practicing shorthand very assiduously, and when we're married, I shall be able to be useful to Jonathan, and if I can stenograph well enough, I can take down what he wants to say in the way and write it out for him on the typewriter, at which also I am practicing very hard. He and I sometimes write letters in shorthand, and he's keeping a stenographic journal of his travels abroad. And when I'm with you, I shall keep a diary in the same way. I don't mean one of those 2-page to the week with Sundays squeezed in a corner diaries, but a sort of journal, which I can write in whenever I feel inclined. I do not suppose there will be much of interest to other people, but it's not intended for them. I may show it to Jonathan some day if there is in it anything worth sharing. But it's really an exercise book. I shall try to do what I see lady journalists do, interviewing and writing descriptions and trying to remember conversations. I'm told that with a little practice, one can remember all that goes on or that one hears said during a day. However, we shall see. I will tell you of my little plans when we meet. I've just had a few hurried lines from Jonathan from Transylvania. He's well, and will be returning in about a week. I'm longing to hear all his news. Remember, that means I want it with all of my heart. It must be nice to see strange countries. I wonder if Jonathan and I, shall ever see them together. There's the 10 o'clock bell ringing. Goodbye. Your loving Mina. Do I call her Lucy? Her name's Mina. Tell me all the news when you write. You have not told me anything for a long time. I hear rumors, and especially of tall, handsome, curly-haired man. What? Oh, I guess that's it. She said goodbye and then she wrote a little bit more. Letter, Lucy Westenra to Mina Murray. 17 Chatham Street, Wednesday. My dearest Mina, I must say you tax me. Now, that's funny. We're running into words today where you probably know it in one way, but not in another way. So you probably know tax as meaning money that the government takes from you, money that the government charges you. But another way that you can use tax, it means to take, usually energy, I think, take energy from you. So earlier we said, oh, I've had a trying day, which means I had a stressful day. If you say I had a taxing day, that would mean the day has taken all of the energy from me. I have no more energy left. If you tell someone, you tax me, that means you take all of the energy from me. You make me very tired. You make me feel very tired. So I must say you taxed me. You taxed me very unfairly with being a bad correspondent. I guess she's using it in a kind of a different way here, but I'm not even sure how she's using it here. I wrote you twice since we parted, and your last letter was only your second. Besides, I have nothing to tell you. There really is nothing to interest you. Town is very pleasant just now, and we go a great deal to picture galleries and for walks and rides in the park. As to the tall, curly-haired man, I suppose it was the one who was with me at the last pop. Someone has evidently been telling tales. That means like spreading rumors. That was Mr. Homewood. He often comes to see us, and he and Mamma get on very well together. They have so many things to talk about in common. We met some time ago. A man that would just do for you if you were not already engaged to Jonathan. But he is an excellent parti, being handsome, well off, and of good birth. He's a doctor and really clever. Just fancy. He's only 29, that's 29. And he has an immense lunatic asylum, all under his own care. Do you know, an asylum is a place for protection. And it used to be what they would call a place where they would put crazy people. So if somebody was crazy in the 19th century, and probably before that too, there were special hospitals where they would put them called asylums. That word asylum means like protection. But when they say lunatic, lunatic means crazy person. So a lunatic asylum is really a hospital for people who are cuckoo, crazy. So he's a doctor and he's in charge of an entire hospital for crazy people. He's only 29, and he has an immense means really big, an immense lunatic asylum all under his own care. Mr. Homewood introduced him to me. And he called here to see us. Calling in this context means visited. He visited us. He called here to see us, and often comes now. I think he's one of the most resolute men I've ever saw, and yet the most calm. He seems absolutely imperturbable. To perturb, if you see that word in the middle, perturb, it means to annoy someone or make someone angry. So perturbable would mean you can make them angry, or you could make them feel annoyed. And imperturbable means you can't annoy them. You can never upset them. So if somebody is imperturbable, that means it's not easy to make them upset. It's not easy to annoy them. I can fancy what a wonderful power he must have over his patients. The word fancy here means I can imagine. He has a serious habit of looking one straight in the face, as if trying to read one's thoughts. He tries this on very much with me, but I flatter myself he has got a tough nut to crack. That's an expression, a tough nut to crack. Do you know what a walnut is? Let's see. Let's get a picture of a walnut. Have you ever had a walnut? This is a walnut. How do you open a walnut? Can you just open it? Are you that strong? Or probably you either need like a hammer, or there's something called a nut cracker that you can use. So a tough nut to crack, it's referring to something like this, opening a walnut. But the way that you use it is when you're talking about a person or their personality. It means, I don't understand you. It's difficult to understand who you are or what you're thinking. So I can say, you're a tough nut to crack. That means it's very difficult for me to understand you. You're a very mysterious person. I can't open you like a nut, like a walnut. which makes sense here because he's like a psychiatrist in charge of a hospital full of crazy people. And she says he's very strange, he's very intense when he looks at you. It's like he's reading your mind. But I'm a tough nut to crack, meaning it's not easy for him to read my mind because I'm more complicated than your typical person. I'm very mysterious. I'm very difficult to understand. He has a curious habit of looking one straight in the face, as if trying to read one's thoughts. He tries this. He tries this on very much with me, but I flatter myself he has got a tough nut to crack. I know that from my glass. Do you ever try to read your own face? I do, and I can tell you, it's not a bad study and gives you more trouble than you can well fancy if you have never tried it. And again, fancy here means imagine. So it's really difficult, more difficult than you can imagine. More trouble than you can well fancy if you have never tried it. He says that I can afford him a curious psychological study, and I humbly think I do. I do not, as you know, take sufficient interest in dress to be able to describe the new fashions. Dress is a bore. That is slang again. But never mind. Arthur says that every day. There, it's all out, Mina. We have told all our secrets to each other since we were children. We have slept together and eaten together and laughed and cried together, and now, though I have spoken, I would like to speak more. Oh, Mina, couldn't you guess? I love him. I'm blushing as I write, for although I think he loves me, he has not told me so in words, but oh, Mina, I love him. I love him. There, that does me good. I wish I were with you, dear, sitting by the fire, undressing, as we used to sit, and I would try to tell you what I feel. I don't know how I'm writing this even to you. I'm afraid to stop, or should I tear up the letter? Tearing up the letter, that means to take something. If you tear something up, it means you tear it. This is tearing. Shh. But if you tear something up, that's doing it many times until it's in many little pieces. Or should I tear up the letter? I don't want to stop, for I do so want to tell you all. Let me hear from you at once, and tell me all that you think about it, Mina. Pray for my happiness, Lucy. P.S. That P.S., that means postscript, which is Latin, and that means after writing. So when you write P.S., you've already said goodbye in your letter, and then you think, oh, there's one more thing I have to say. So you write P.S. Here's a little note after writing. P.S. I need to tell you this is a secret. Good night, L. Letter, Lucy Westenra to Mina Murray, 24th of May. My dearest Mina, thanks, and thanks, and thanks again for your sweet letter. It was so nice to be able to tell you and to have your sympathy. My dear, it never rains but it pours. Again, it raining, of course, and pouring is, if you're transferring liquid, like from a pitcher to a glass, that's pouring water, pouring coffee. So pouring is the action of, creating a stream of liquid. And if it's raining very hard, you say it's pouring. And the expression, it never rains but it pours, means when something happens, it's always really horrible, or it's always really hard. So it's never like the easy rain that you could be comfortable in. It's always the hard rain. It's always pouring. So you say this. I don't know what she's going to say, but I have a feeling it must be bad news, or she's going to talk about a difficult situation. Because that's how you start. That's That's how you signal you're about to say something about a horrible situation. When it rains, well, I would say it a little bit differently. I would say when it rains, it pours, but it's the same expression. It never rains, but it pours. My dear, it never rains, but it pours. How true the old proverbs are. Here am I, who shall be 20 in September, and yet I have never had a proposal till today. Not a real proposal, and today I had 3. Just fancy. Well, so this is good, actually. This is not a bad thing, I think. Uh, so that just fancy, that means just think about it, just imagine. 3 proposals in one day. Isn't it awful? So she sees this as a bad thing. I feel sorry, really and truly sorry for 2 of the poor fellows. Oh, Mina, I'm so happy that I don't know what to do with myself. And 3 proposals, but for goodness sakes, don't tell any of the girls, or they would be getting all sorts of extravagant ideas and imagining themselves injured and slighted if in their very first day at home they did not get 6 at least. Some girls are so vain. You and I, Mina, dear, who are engaged and are going to settle down soon, soberly, into old married women, can despise vanity. Vanity means thinking about your appearance or thinking about or imagining that you're the best, you're the prettiest, you're the smartest. It doesn't have to be appearance, it could be anything. Being vain means always thinking about yourself and how wonderful you are. And so she's saying young girls are so vain. They think they're so pretty and so wonderful that, you know, if they discover that I received 3 proposals, when they return home from school, if they don't get 6 proposals, they'll be very depressed. And she's saying, now we're almost married, so we're sober. That means serious. And so we married women, we're not vain. We don't care about vanity. Despise vanity. That means hate vanity. Well, I must tell you about the 3, but you must keep it a secret, dear, from everyone except, of course, Jonathan. You will tell him, because I would, if I were in your place, certainly tell Arthur. A woman ought to tell her husband everything. Don't you think so, dear? And I must be fair. Men like women, certainly their wives, to be quite as fair as they are. And women, I'm afraid, are not always quite as fair as they should be. Well, my dear, number 1 came just before lunch. I told you of him, Dr. John Seward, the lunatic asylum man, with the strong jaw and the good forehead. He was very cool outwardly, but was nervous all the same. He had evidently been schooling himself as to all sorts of little things and remembered them, but he almost managed to sit down on his silk hat, which men don't generally do when they're cool. And when he wanted to appear at ease, he kept playing with the lancet in a way that made me nearly scream. He spoke to me, Mina, very straightforwardly. When someone is straightforward, that means they're very direct. So he didn't try to make, I'm guessing he didn't try to make conversation. He just said, will you marry me? That's very direct and straightforward. He told me how dear I was to him, though he had known me so little, and what his life would be with me to help and cheer him. And he was going to tell me how unhappy he would be if I did not care for him. But when he saw me cry, he said he was a brute. Brute is a word that means strong, and when used in English, it means someone who doesn't have very good manners or who is very impolite. But actually, wait, let's see what kind of pictures we can get. We've had that word before, brute. Let's see, a brute. We'll look up a brute. And then you'll understand when. So really the word brute just means strong. And it could be used that way sometimes. But if you're calling someone a brute, it means you're calling them something like this. And this is a person who does not consider other people's feelings. So he was feeling very horrible because he made her cry. And he says, "Oh, I'm such a brute." When he saw me cry, he said he was a brute and would not add to my present trouble. Then he broke off and asked if I could love him in time. And when I shook my head, that means she did this. She shook her head no. His hands trembled. This is trembling. He put it very nicely, saying that he did not want to wring my confidence from me, but only to know, because if a woman's heart was free, a man might have hope. And then, Mina, I felt a sort of duty to tell him that there was someone. I only told him that much, and then he stood up and looked very strong and very grave as he took both my hands in his and said he hoped I would be happy, and that if I ever wanted a friend, I must count him one of my best. Oh, Mina dear, I can't help crying, and you must excuse this letter for being all blotted. I think we had the word blot the other day. I think in the same book, actually. Yeah, blot. So let me just show you what a blot is. This is a blot. So imagine, this is before she's probably using like a feather for writing, and the ink is very wet, and it takes some time to dry. And imagine if she's crying, the tears will fall on the letters, and then the letters will be blotted. I wonder what happens if I type blotted letter. Let's see. This is a blotted letter. You probably wouldn't have that problem in modern times, but it would look like this. That's a blotted letter. Let's read that again. Oh, Mina dear, I can't help crying, and you must excuse this letter being all blotted. Being proposed to is all very nice, and all that sort of thing, but it isn't at all a happy thing when you have to see a poor fellow, whom you know loves you honestly, going away and looking all broken-hearted, and to know that no matter what he may say at the moment, you're passing out of his life, my dear. I must stop here at present. I feel so miserable, though I'm so happy. Evening. Arthur has just gone, and I feel in better spirits than when I left off, so I can go on telling you about the day. When you can, and I think we've talked about this before, that you can talk about being in bad spirits, and that means being in a bad mood, or you can be in good spirits, which means that you're in a good mood. So spirits could mean how you're feeling at the moment. If you have a friend who is looking sad, you might say, "Why are you in such bad spirits?" Or, "Wow, you're happy today." "Yes, I'm in good spirits." It just means happy or sad, depending on if you say bad or good. So Arthur has just gone, and I feel in better spirits than when I left off, so I can go on telling you about the day. Well, my dear, number 2 came after lunch. He's such a nice fellow, an American from Texas, and he looks so young and so fresh that it seems almost impossible that he has been to so many places and had such adventures. I sympathize with poor Desdemona when she had such a stream poured in her ear, even by a black man. I suppose that we women are such cowards that we think a man will save us from fears, and we marry him. I know now what I would do if I were a man and wanted to make a girl love me. No, I don't. For there was Mr. Morris telling us his stories, and Arthur never told any. And yet, my dear, I'm somewhat previous. Mr. Quincy P. Morris found me alone. It seems that a man always does find a girl alone. No, he doesn't, for Arthur tried twice to make a chance, and I helping him all I could. I'm not ashamed to say it now. I must tell you beforehand that Mr. Morris doesn't always speak slang. That is to say, he never does so to strangers, or before them. Before them means in front of them. For he is really well educated, and has exquisite manners, but he found out that it amused me to hear him talk American slang, and whenever I was present, and there was no one to be shocked, he said such funny things. I'm afraid, my dear, he has to invent it all, for it fits exactly into whatever else he has to say. But this is a way slang has. I don't know myself if I shall ever speak slang. I do not know if Arthur likes it, as I have never heard him use any as yet. Well, Mr. Morris sat down beside me and looked as happy and jolly means happy, as he could. But I could see, all the same, that he was very nervous, and he took my hand in his and said ever so sweetly, Miss Lucy, I know I ain't good enough to regulate the fixins of your little shoes, but I guess if you wait till you find a man, that is, you will go join them 7 young women with the lamps when you quit. Won't you just hitch up alongside me and let us go down the long road together driving in double harness? He doesn't really talk like that. He's just he's talking like that because she enjoys it. But that was how he proposed to her. Well, he did look so good-humored and so jolly that it didn't seem half so hard to refuse him as it did to poor Dr. Seward. So I said, as lightly as I could, that I did not know anything of hitching. Hitching, we better look at that word. Hitching means like attaching. Let's see what kind of... Oh, let me see. What kind of picture we get. Oh no, it's a movie. Everything's a movie. Okay, we found something. Alright. Every time I look up a word, it's always the name of a cartoon character or a movie, and it's almost impossible to get an actual picture of something. But so a hitch, you see this attachment for the car. This is so that you can put something, you can add something else to the car, like a trailer, or you can pull something with the car. Oh, here's a good picture. You see, you use a hitch to attach the truck to this is a camper or an RV, and you connect the two with a hitch. That's what hitch means. It means like connecting. And I thought I saw another one here that was a pretty good picture. Yeah, so you can just see how this is the way that you attach one thing to another thing. You have to use a hitch. So that's how you would attach a horse to a wagon. You would hitch the horse to the wagon. Now, getting hitched is slang, and that means getting married. Let's get hitched. That means let's get married. So that's kind of a funny way of saying getting married, but definitely, I think definitely not something you would hear in England 120 or 130 years ago. But so she's British and she thinks that's funny, and he's talking like that. And she says, well, he did look so good-humored and jolly that it didn't seem half so hard to refuse him as it did poor Dr. Seward. So I said as lightly as I could that I didn't know anything of hitching. And that I wasn't and I wasn't broken to harness at all yet. Then he said that he had spoken in a light manner, and he hoped that if he had made a mistake in doing so on so grave, so momentous an occasion for him, I would forgive him. So now he's saying, now he feels bad because she said, well, what are you hitching? I don't know what you're talking about. Hitching and harnesses? A harness is what you put on a horse before you hitch the horse. So that's how you attach the horse. And then he now he's apologizing. He's saying, well, I was joking. I was using funny words to make you laugh, but maybe I shouldn't have on so grave an occasion. Grave means serious. So now he's apologizing because it seems like she's about to say no. He really did look serious when he was saying it, and I couldn't help feeling a sort of exultation that he was number two in one day. And then, my dear, before I could say a word, he began pouring out a perfect torrent of lovemaking. Lovemaking here in the 19th century in books, probably in regular vocabulary, it just means uh, saying nice things, saying beautiful things. So it doesn't mean anything about physical relations as it does now. It just means saying nice words. So he started saying very beautiful words to her. Before I could say a word, he began pouring out a perfect torrent. A torrent is a storm. So he started saying a storm of beautiful words to me. A perfect torrent of love making, laying his very heart and soul at my feet. He looked so earnest. Earnest means desperate or enthusiastic, something like that. He looked so earnest over it that I shall never again think of that a man must be playful always. My face, which checked him, for he suddenly stopped and said with a sort of manly fervor that I could have loved him, for if I had been free. Lucy, you're an honest-hearted girl, I know. I should not be here speaking to you as I am now, if I did not believe you clean grit right through the very depths of your soul. Tell me, like one good fellow to another, is there anyone else that you care for? And if there is, I'll never trouble you a hair's breadth again, but will be, if you will let me, a very faithful friend. My dear Mina, why are men so noble when we women are so little worthy of them? Here was I, almost making fun of this great-hearted, true gentleman. I burst into tears, I'm afraid, my dear. You will think he is a very sloppy letter. This is a very sloppy letter. That's a good word to know, sloppy. Sloppy means disorganized, not neat. It's the opposite of neat, if you know that word. So let's see what kind of... oh gosh. Google just isn't really good with images anymore. This is a very typical American food. It's called a sloppy Joe. So that's not something I think you would find on a menu, but that's probably something you may eat at home. But just imagine if you try to put that in your mouth, all of the food will fall. It'll fall on your shirt. It will fall on the table. That's why it's called sloppy, because it's a very sloppy thing to eat. Let's see if we have any other pictures of sloppy. Let's put sloppy person and see what kind of pictures Google gives us. See, a sloppy person looks very disorganized and dirty. These are sloppy people. Sloppy. That's a good word. Let's try sloppy schoolwork. Here's some sloppy schoolwork. You can't even read it. Let's see if we can find any other sloppy. No, more sloppy joes. Oh well, you get the idea. It's the opposite of neat or organized. Has the idea of not caring. My dear Mina, oh wait, let's see. I burst into tears, I'm afraid, my dear, and you will think this a very sloppy letter in more ways than one, and I really felt very badly. Why can't they let a girl marry 3 men, or as many as want her, and save all of this trouble? But this is heresy, and I must not say it. I'm glad to say that, though I was crying, I was able to look into Mr. Morris's brave eyes, and I told him straight, yes, there is someone I love, though he has not told me yet that he even loves me. And I was right to speak to him so frankly, for quite a light came into his face, and he put out both his hands and took mine. I think I put them into his, and said in a very hearty way, "That's my brave girl. It's better worth being late for a chance of winning you than being in time for any other girl in the world. Don't cry, my dear. If it's for me, I'm a hard nut to crack." Here we go again with that phrase, a hard nut to crack. But this time I think he's saying, I have a lot of protection on the outside, so it doesn't hurt me on the inside. And I take it standing up. If that other fellow doesn't know his happiness, well, he'd better look for it soon, or he'll have to deal with me. Little girl, your honesty and pluck have made me a friend, and that's rarer than a lover. It's more selfish, anyhow. My dear, I'm going to have a pretty lonely walk between this and Kingdom Come. Won't you give me one kiss? It'll be something to keep off the darkness now and then. You can, you know, if you like, for that other good fellow, or you could not love him. Hasn't spoken yet. What? That doesn't make any sense to me. Wait, let me try this. I'm going to read this again because that was weird. Won't you give me one kiss? It'll be something to keep off the darkness. That means to keep the darkness away from me. Now and then. You can, you know, if you like. For that other good fellow. Or you could not love him. Hasn't spoken yet. I don't. That's a very strange sentence, and I don't get it. That quite won me, Mina, for it was brave and sweet of him, and noble too. To a rival, wasn't it? And he so sad. So I leant over, and I kissed him. Pachu says hello. Good morning, Pachu. How are you doing this morning? He stood up with my 2 hands in his, and as he looked down into my face, I'm afraid I was blushing very much, and he said, "Little girl, I hold your hand and you've kissed me, and if these things don't make us friends, nothing ever will. Thank you for your sweet honesty to me, and goodbye." And he wrung my hand. Wringing is when you do this, so he must have done something like that to her hand. And taking up his hat, went straight out of the room without looking back, without a tear or a quiver or a pause, and I'm crying like a baby. Oh, why must a man like that be made unhappy, when there are lots of girls about who would worship the very ground he trod on? I know I would if I were free. Only I don't want to be free. My dear, this quite upset me, and I feel I cannot write of happiness just at once after telling you of it. And I don't wish to tell of the number 3 until I can be all happy. Ever your loving Lucy. P.S. Oh, about number 3. I needn't tell you of number 3, need I? Besides, it was all so confused. It seemed only a moment from his coming into the room till both his arms were around me, and he was kissing me. I'm very happy, and I don't know what I have done to deserve it. I must only try in the future to show that I am not ungrateful to God for all his goodness to me. and sending to me such a lover, such a husband, such a friend. Goodbye. Dr. Seward's Diary, kept in photograph. 25th of May. Ebb tide in appetite today. Cannot eat, cannot rest. So diary instead. Since my rebuff of yesterday, rebuff is like a rejection. So yesterday he proposed to Lucy and she said no. She rebuffed him. Since my rebuff of yesterday, I have a sort of empty feeling. Nothing in the world seems of sufficient importance to be worth the doing. As I knew that the only cure for this sort of thing was work, I went amongst the patients. I picked out one who has afforded me a study of much interest. He's so quaint. Quaint means like simple and quiet. He's so quaint that I am determined to understand him as well as I can. Today, I seem to get nearer than ever before to the heart of this mystery. I questioned him more fully than I had ever done, with a view to making myself master of the facts of his hallucination. In my manner of doing it, there I was, I now see, something of cruelty. I seemed to wish to keep him to the point of his madness, a thing which I avoid with the patients as I would the mouth of hell. Pacha says, can you summarize? Well, it seems like this book is all written in letters. So in the first part of the book so far, we have the main character. Jonathan is writing in his journal about his trip to Transylvania. He's a lawyer. He's a junior lawyer. I think he just passed his examinations. And his boss sent him to Transylvania to take care of a very important customer because his boss was unable to travel from England to Transylvania. Transylvania is in Eastern Europe. And so a lot of crazy things happened in those first 4 chapters. And now, in the last chapter, he was trying to escape from the castle. And now we are reading the letters between his fiancée, whose name is Mina, and her friend, whose name is Lucy. And Mina is just writing saying, oh, Jonathan is going to return very shortly, in 2 or 3 days. That's not really true, because previously the Count Dracula, had Jonathan write letters to his family and friends saying, I'm returning. But he really wasn't. So these are fake letters. So Mina is expecting him to return, and he's not, as far as I know. And her friend, Lucy, is telling her how she received 3 marriage proposals in one day. The first marriage proposal was from a doctor who was in charge of a lunatic asylum, a hospital for crazy people. The second, and she said no to him. And the second proposal was from an American from Texas, and she said no to him. And the third proposal was from the man who she loves, whose name is Arthur, and she said yes. So that happened. We just read through these letters a few minutes ago. And now we are reading the letter of the doctor in the lunatic asylum. And he's saying, oh, everything is so horrible. I feel so bad because I was rebuffed yesterday. I was rejected. I proposed marriage and she said no. That I decided to work extra hard. So I went to one particular patient, one particular crazy person in the hospital, and I wanted to do some work with him. Now he's describing that work. I questioned him more fully than I had ever done, with a view to making myself master of the facts of his hallucination. In my manner of doing it, there was, I now see, something of cruelty. So he's trying to distract himself from feeling very sad about what happened yesterday. And it seems like he's working too hard with one of these people, and he's understanding that maybe he's being too difficult with the patients. I seem to wish to keep him to the point of his madness, a thing which I avoid with patience, as I would the mouth of hell. Let's say memo. Memo. Under what circumstances would I not avoid the pit of hell? Omnia Romae venalia sunt. Hell has its price. If there be anything behind this instinct, it will be valuable to trace it afterwards accurately. So I had better commence to do so, therefore. So this is the patient, R.M. Renfield, age 59, sanguine temperament. I forgot what that word means, sanguine. Let's just define it. Temperament means like your character, how you behave. Optimistic, hopeful, or confident. That's sanguine. Sanguine temperament. Great physical strength. These are the doctor's notes about the patient. Morbidly excitable. David Garcia says Renfield's Dracula's minion. Yeah, that's right. And this is the first time we're being introduced to him. So his doctor was rejected by Lucy. Periods of gloom. Gloom means like, it could, in here I think it means like depression. Periods of depression. Periods of gloom. Ending in some fixed idea which I cannot make out. Make out here means understand. I presume that the sanguine temperament itself and the disturbing influence end in a mentally accomplished finish. A possibly dangerous man. Probably dangerous if unselfish. In selfish men, caution is as secure an armor for their foes as for themselves. What I think of on this point is when self is the fixed point, the centripetal force is balanced with the centrifugal force. Okay, he's talking like a doctor. Let's not try to interpret this too much. Okay. When duty, a cause, is the fixed point, the latter force is paramount, and only accident or a series of accidents can balance it. Okay, I don't think that we have to spend much time trying to understand what he's talking about there. It's just doctor talk, I guess. Okay, another letter. Letter Quincy P. Morris to Honorable Arthur Holmwood, 25th of May. My dear Art. So I think the first person, Quincy P. Morris, I think that is the man from Texas who Lucy rejected. And Arthur is the name of the man that she agreed to marry. So I think this is one person who was rejected by Lucy, writing to the man to whom she said yes. My dear Art, we've told yarns. Yarns means stories. We've told stories by the campfire. We've told yarns by the campfire in the prairies, and dressed one another's wounds after trying a landing at the Marquesas, and drunk healths on the shore of Titicaca. That's a lake in South America. There are more yarns to be told, and other wounds to be healed, and another health to be drunk. Won't you let this be at my campfire tomorrow night? I have no hesitation in asking you, as I know a certain lady is engaged a certain dinner party, and that you are free. There will only be one other, our old pal at the Korea. Pal means friend. That's kind of a funny word for friend. Pachu says, sanguine gloom make out. Well, sanguine means happy, cheerful, optimistic. Not a terribly common word. Gloom means sadness or depression in this context, and make out means understand. Uh, Pachu says, pal. Yes, pal is like a funny word for pal is a funny word for friend. Ah, he's my pal. It's like buddy. I don't know if you know the word buddy, but that's a similar kind of word. It just means friend. And David Garcia says, yeah, Lake Titicaca is located in Bolivia. I used to have a student from Peru, and I don't know, he was funny because he was like a 40-year-old man. But then I don't know why we were talking about Lake Titicaca, but every time he said it, he would just laugh like a little kid because of that, because it's a funny name. Okay, let's see. Uh, let's go back. So he's coming too, and we both want to mingle. Mingle means like mixing, especially if you're talking about socializing, like mixing with other people. I went to the party and I mingled. That means I went to the party and I mixed. I talked to this person and that person. I talked to everybody. That's mingling. But here it just means mix. We have mingle our weeps over the wine cup. So that means I'll share my sad stories. Weeping means crying. So if we mingle our weeps, that means I'll share my sad stories. You can share your sad stories. They'll mingle. And to drink a health with all our hearts to the happiest man in all the world, who has won the noblest heart that God has made, and best worth winning. We promise you a hearty welcome, and a loving greeting, and a health as true as your own right hand. We shall both swear to leave you at home if you drink too deep to a certain pair of eyes. Come. Yours as ever and always, Quincy P. Morris. Pachu says mingle, mix for people. Well, it doesn't, it's used a lot talking about mixing with people, but it could be used in other ways, meaning things are intertwined or interlaced like this. So it doesn't have to be other people, but it's used that way quite a bit. Telegram from Arthur Homeward to Quincy P. Morris, 26th of May. Count me in every time. Count me in means include me. You can include me. Who wants to go to the bar and drink? Count me in. That means include me. I want to do it. So count me in. That's a very common. And count me out means don't include me. I don't want to be included. I bear messages which will make both your ears tingle. Art. Okay, well, that was the end of chapter 6, a pretty short chapter. Pachu, do you want to practice pronunciation today? Are you. Should I count you in or count you out? Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to practice. We're going to do about an hour of practice with pronunciation. Okay, Pachu is going to join me on Discord, and we're going to read a few lines from this book, and we're just going to focus on how to pronounce the words. Okay, but before we start, I'm going to take a 1-minute break. And I will be right back. And then we will start over with something new and interesting. All right, we're back. Let me turn off the music. David Garcia says, "Who wants to practice English? Count me in." Okay, we'll count you in. That means we'll include you. All right, let me just close some of these windows here. And I've got to open up Discord. So if you know how to use Discord, you can also join my Discord. And maybe if for some reason Pachu wants to be counted out, we can count somebody else in. Okay, I'm going to call, let's see.
Hello, sir.
Hello, how are you doing today?
Sir, I am doing great,
Oh,
sir.
that's good. It's early in the morning in Nepal, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so now we are going to practice pronunciation. We're going to focus mainly on vowel sounds, but if we notice some problems with other sounds, we'll also talk about those. Pachu, can you see the screen on the video? We told.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you read the first three words?
We've told yams.
All right. And that word yarns, do you remember what that means? We just talked about that a few minutes ago. Did you happen to remember what that means?
No, sir.
Okay, that means
Yeah.
stories. It's another way of saying stories. So we've told
Okay.
stories. It really
Stories.
means we've told stories, okay? So does
Oh,
that make sense to you? What is that weave? Those are two words together. What two words are those?
weave.
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 Mhm. What two words are those? Those are two words pushed together.
Weave.
Uh-huh. What are the two words?
We have.
Yeah, that's right. It's we have. Okay. When you say that, weave, what do you think about that vowel sound in the middle? Is that a long sound or a short sound? Weave.
We is long.
Okay. Can you say that word again? Weave.
Weave.
Okay. Told. What do you think about told?
Told.
Is that a big sound or a small sound?
Oh, big sound.
It is a big sound. Do you know what happens sometimes if you have a big sound and two big sounds together? The first sound is always bigger than the second sound. So it should be
Oh,
we've told. They're both big, but the first one is bigger than the second one. We've told.
we've told.
That's right. And how about the word yarns?
Yarns.
What do you think about
Yarns.
is that
Yeah,
a big
big.
sound or a little sound? Yarns, the vowel sound in there.
A big sound.
It
Yarns.
is. It is. And that's a good Y. You're pronouncing the Y. We were having trouble with that yesterday, but that's a good Y. Yarns. Can you say all
Yarns.
Can you say all three words together?
We've told yarns.
We've told yarns. We can make told a little bit smaller. We'll make weave really big and told a little bit small, and then yarns will make big again. We've told yarns.
We've told yarns.
Okay. How about by? Is that a big sound or a little sound?
By is big,
Okay.
but it is small
Yeah, you're
when we use in sentence.
Yeah, when it's in a sentence, it's usually not big. It could be big. You could make it big if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But here it's a good idea to keep it very small. Baida, 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 baida.
By the.
We've told yarns, baida.
We've told yarns by the.
Okay. What's the next word?
It's a campfire.
Okay. Campfire, campfire, campfire.
Campfire.
You know,
Campfire.
when you have a compound noun, when you have two words together, most of the time it's the first word that will get all of the attention. Campfire.
Yeah. Campfire.
Hmm. Can you say we've told yarns by the campfire?
We've told by the campfires. We've told yarns by the campfire.
Uh,
Campfire.
I'm going to let me see. I'm going to put something up here. Whoops. I'm just putting up a word here. When you see the word written here, can you pronounce it? The word that I have put up on the screen when you see it?
Spire.
Okay. You know, that's a word, uh, and it means the same thing, pretty much. Pyre.
Fire. Fire.
Oh, can you say that again? How did you say that?
Fire.
Oh, it's okay. Well, I have. Let me.
Yeah. Spire.
Okay, these are the way that you make. I just want to. Sorry, I want to put a number here. Okay, if you say number one, okay, uh, what you do is you bite the bottom of your lips, so your teeth are touching the bottom lip like this. I don't know if you can see me in the video. Can
Yeah.
you see?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so you do that, and then you push out air. That's number one. Fire.
Fire. Fire. Fire.
What you're doing is you're pushing your lips together, and you're saying pyre. You're saying number two, but don't push your lips together. Only touch your teeth to your bottom lip and push out air. So there's no p. It's the air flows through your teeth.
Fire.
Again,
Fire.
again, fire.
Fire. Fire.
You have to feel the air going under your teeth. Fire.
Fire.
That's better. That's better.
Fire.
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 Uh,
Fire.
you're pushing your lips together. Don't push your lips together. Only your bottom lip with your teeth. Fire.
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 I would like to hear more air come out. It sounds like you're not pushing out the air. Fire.
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 More air. It has to be stronger. More air.
Fire.
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 Don't push your lips together. Your lips do not touch. Fire. Just your top teeth and your bottom lip. Fire.
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 No, you're pushing your lips
Fire.
together. You're pushing. Don't push your lips together.
Fire.
If you,
Fire.
I'm trying to think, what else could we do? Well, what if we said this? I'm going to try something different because I don't think you have a problem with this sound. But let's see. Uh,
हाँ हाँ हमारा ना माया गरेर सुन्छ
hello.
भाइ Yes,
Can,
sir.
can you see number three? Number, huh? Say number
Number
three.
3 is vine,
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 vine.
vine.
Um, oh, that's interesting because it sounds like you're saying a B instead of a V. Okay, well, I think this is going to take some work to pronounce this sound correctly. The F. We're going to have to practice it more. I heard you say it a couple of times correctly, so I know that you can do it, but I think it would just take a little bit of practice. But
Yes.
let's just keep going for right now. Okay. So we've told yarns by the campfire.
We've told yarns by the campfire.
Okay. When I say told, how many sounds are in there? Told. Told. How many sounds do you hear in the middle of that word? Told.
One,
There are two. Toe old. Toe old. Toe old.
old, told.
So it's two sounds really. And that that's a sound that a lot of people have problems with because in most languages it's just oh, so they want to say tot,
Yeah,
but it's two
yeah.
sounds. It's toe old, told.
Old, told.
We've told yarns by the campfire.
We've told yarns by the campfire.
Okay. Uh, what about in the? In the? Are those big sounds or little sounds?
Uh, Small in
In
the
in the. We've told yarns by the campfire in the.
we have told yarns by the campfire in the
Weave. Weave.
weave,
Yeah, so
weave,
not with, but weave.
weave,
We've told
weave.
yarns by the campfire in the.
We've told yarns by the campfire in the
Okay. Prairies. Prairies. Prairies.
prairies,
Do
prairies.
you know that word, prairie?
No, sir, no.
Oh, okay. Well, a
I don't.
prairie is a big open space with grass, with just grass, no
Oh,
trees. Uh,
okay. Yeah,
I'll show you a picture of a prairie.
yeah. This is a new word for me. Yeah.
Well, I think Nepal is famous for being all mountains. So I don't know. I don't know if you have any prairies in Nepal, but if you can see this picture, this is what a prairie looks like. No mountains, no trees, nothing but grass and very flat. Can you see the picture?
Yes.
Yes, you see the picture? Okay, well, that's a prairie. All right, we told yarns by the campfire in the prairies.
We have told yarns by the campfire in the prairies.
Okay, and what do you think about that word, prairies? Are those big vowel sounds or little vowel sounds?
Big prairies,
Okay. Well,
prairies.
okay. Now, if I say that word very slowly, think of how many sounds are in the first syllable. Prairies. Prairies. How many sounds? Prairies in the first syllable.
Two and one, three.
Okay. Prayer. Prayer. Can you say that?
Prayer,
Uh,
prayer,
prairies.
prairies, prairies,
Prairies. Prairies.
prairies,
Hmm.
prairies.
We've told yarns by the campfire in the prairies.
We've told yarns by the campfire in the prairies.
Okay. And dressed one another's wounds. Do you know what wound is? What does the word wound mean?
Yes, wound means something injury or
Oh,
on the skin. On the skin,
yeah, that's right. What does it mean to dress a wound?
chest. And chest means cloth is related to clothes. I think.
It does, but when you're talking about dressed a wound, that means like you. Actually, let's just take a. I'm going to show you a picture of a dressed wound. That means like.
Means
Mhm.
put something cloth or bandage
Yeah,
on the
wound. Yeah, on the wound.
wound,
Yeah. So I'm
wound,
just showing a
wound.
picture. This is what dressing a wound is. But you're right. It means
Yeah,
put it.
sometimes doctor or nurses do.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, per
That's right.
percent. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. This is okay.
So dressed, dressed. What do you think about that sound? Is that
Dressed.
a big sound or a little sound? Dressed.
Big, big sound.
Okay. What about the word and? Is that Is that a big sound or a little sound?
And the
Well,
little sound.
it's big, but it's little in a sentence usually. It's usually not a big sound in a sentence. Actually, it's just dressed, and dressed,
In, in just,
and
in just,
dressed. Okay, so
in,
it's
in,
not undressed, it's dressed. But the all the emphasis is on the word dress, not on
in just, in just,
dressed. Dressed.
in
Sorry,
just.
just 1 second. I have to. I closed the door and now my dog is crying because she wants to come into the room. Let me just open the door.
Interest, interest,
And dressed. And dressed.
interest,
Okay.
interest.
If we say one another's, what do you think about
One
the
another,
sounds in that phrase? One another's.
one another's, one,
One another's.
one another's, one another's.
Hmm. One.
Wa,
One. What do you think about that? Is that a long sound? Is that a big sound or a little sound?
one is big,
It does sound.
one, one.
How about another? Another.
Another is a bit shorter than this.
Okay. Well,
Another,
we've got another. We've got three sounds. Tell me, are they big or small?
no,
Another.
no,
Another. Another.
another, other. Oh, it's small.
All of them?
Another,
Another.
another. No, is long
No,
and another is short.
it's hard. It's hard for me. I'm thinking about it now. Another. Another.
Another, another,
Okay.
another.
Yeah, another. I think they're all short, but you still have to
another,
put an accent on na. You have to make that big somehow. Another, but it's not really a big vowel sound.
another, another,
And dressed one another's.
and just one another's, one another's,
How about
one
the word?
another's.
How about the word wounds? What do you think about that vowel sound? Wounds,
Runes,
wounds.
runes.
Is that a big vowel sound or a little vowel sound?
It's big. Ooh,
Wounds. Yeah, it's really big.
wounds.
Wounds. And dressed one another's wounds.
Just one another's wounds.
hmm We told yarns by the campfire in the prairies and dressed one another's wounds.
Mutually yawns by the campfire in the prairies, and dressed one another's wounds.
Okay, dressed or dressed? Which one?
Dressed.
Yes. See, that doesn't seem important, but it actually is important to make the in English, it's very important to make the big vowel sounds big and the small ones small. So it's not dressed, but dressed.
Dressed.
hmm
Dressed.
Okay. How about after trying? After trying. What do you think about the vowels?
After 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 is short and the trying is long.
Okay, I
After
think
trying.
hmm I think normally after is big. After. But if it's in a sentence, it's a very common word. And if it's not important, then it could just be after. After. After.
After.
Yeah.
After.
So I think you're right that in a phrase, it's pretty small. How about trying? What do you think about that vowel sound?
Yeah. It's trying. Trying. Eyeing. To.
Uh,
Trying.
I.
Trying.
It is. It's eyeing. I think it's three. Eyeing. Uh,
Total is
four.
three. Yeah. Yeah. Total
Trying.
is trying.
Three sounds.
Trying.
Yeah. Trying.
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 That's really big.
Trying.
Yeah. Trying. And then you have trying
China.
trying
China.
after trying
After China.
and dressed one another's wounds after trying
And dressed one another's wounds after China.
Okay, is it wounds or wounds?
Is wounds.
Wounds. It's a big sound. Wounds.
Wounds.
hmm and dressed one another's wounds after trying a landing. Oh, we didn't do landing yet. Try it again.
Dressed one another's wounds after trying.
Wounds.
Wounds.
It's a very big sound. Okay. What about landing? Landing. Is that a big sound or a little sound? A strong sound or a weak sound?
Yeah. Landing is strong.
There are two vowel sounds. Tell me about both of them.
Land,
Mhm. That's big.
and
What
ding.
about what about
Yeah.
ding? Ding. Is that big or
Ding,
small?
this saw.
Okay,
Yeah, is
landing.
small.
Landing.
Landing,
Landing.
land, landing at the
Landing at the. Landing at the. Landing at the.
landing at the
Okay. Uh, and dressed one another's wounds after trying a landing at the.
and dashed one another's wounds after trying a landing at the.
Okay, and the next word is a Spanish word, so it's not really important. So it's Marquesas, but we don't. I guess those are islands or something. I don't know. I'm not really sure what the reference is there. Let's see, the Marquesas. It's probably somewhere in South America.
Marquis,
Let's see, the Marquesas. Yeah, those are islands.
the Marquises,
Oh, actually, that's
Marquises.
somewhere in the Pacific. Okay. Well, I guess they've had some adventures because the Marquesas are islands in the Pacific Ocean. Okay. So we don't have to really focus on that word. It's not an English word. Let's read from the beginning. We've told yarns by the campfire in the prairies and dressed one another's wounds after trying a landing at the Marquesas.
We told yarns by the campfire in the prairies, and dressed one another's wounds after trying a landing at the Marquesas.
Let's start from the beginning again. Can you read from We've Told until Prairies? But I want you to be very careful about the duration of the vowel sounds and try to pronounce the long ones in a longer way because it seems like you're trying to run through it very quickly.
Yes, yes, okay. We've told yarns by the campfire in the prairies,
Okay,
and dressed one another's wounds.
let's stop at Prairies, okay? So tell me word by word. Start with the first word in that sentence. Is that a long sound or a short sound?
Is weave,
Uh-huh. Is that long
weave
or
is
short?
is weave long,
Okay,
weave,
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 weave, weave.
weave,
Tell me the next.
weave
Is that a long or a short sound?
is told, is long,
It's long. It's two sounds, or maybe three. Told. It's like three sounds. We've told.
told,
Say it again. We've told.
we've told,
Hmm.
told.
And how about the word yarns? Is that a big sound or a short sound?
It's big.
Okay. How do you pronounce it?
Yarns,
Yarn.
yarns,
Say those three words together,
yarns.
but be careful about the duration of the vowel sound.
We've we've told yarns.
We've told yarns. How about by the?
We've to okay.
By
By the
the.
by the
Big vowel sounds or little vowel sounds?
the little little
We've
little.
told yarns by the.
We've told yarns by the
How about the word campfire? Are those big sounds or little vowel sounds? Campfire.
big
Okay.
campfire.
And if you have a compound noun like campfire, which word will usually get all of the attention?
Yeah, it is the first
Okay.
word.
So how should
First,
you what is the best way to pronounce that word?
it's a campfire. It's
Yeah, campfire.
campfire.
Campfire. Campfire.
It's campfire.
We've told
Campfire.
yarns by the campfire.
We've we've told yarns by the campfire.
We've told yarns by the campfire in the.
We've told yarns by the campfire in the
What is the final word in that phrase?
prairies. Prairies.
Prairies. Prayer. Prayer. Two sounds big. Prayer. Prairies.
Prairies. Prairies.
Prairies. Prairies.
Prairies.
Prairies.
Pra- prairies. prairies,
Prairies.
prairies.
We've told yarns by the campfire in the prairies.
We've told yarns by the campfire in the prairies.
Yeah, so it's really
Prairies.
important to pay attention to the length of the vowel sounds. And
Yes, yes.
dressed one another's wounds. Can you say that?
And and dressed one another's wounds.
Okay, but it's not uns, it's wounds. It's a very long, big sound.
Wounds.
Dressed
Wounds.
one another's wounds.
And dressed one another's wounds.
Yes, it's a very big sound. After trying
After trying
trying, trying, trying,
trying,
try,
trying,
trying
trying,
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 trying a landing.
trying a landing,
Trying a landing at the.
trying, trying a
Okay.
landing at the,
Trying a landing at the Marquesas.
trying a landing at the Marquesas.
Okay, and then now we have the next phrase, which is and drunk healths. Oh no, this is going to be a very hard word to say. But what does that mean to drink to someone's health? What does that mean?
No, no idea.
Oh well, when people are drinking, because I don't think it's not very common. People don't really drink alcohol in Nepal, do
I do not do
they?
that.
Yeah, it's not very common though.
Yeah, but yeah, people do.
Mhm.
Yeah, drinking alcohol. Yeah.
Well, when people have a drink and then they say cheers, and then they hit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, sometimes they say cheers, and sometimes, or at least in the past, they might have said to your health. So meaning, uh, wishing a person good health.
Yeah.
Have a drink.
Yes. Okay.
That's what it
Okay.
means to
Yeah.
drink to someone's health.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
Mhm. So that's why he says, and drunk health. So he's reminding he's writing a letter to his friend, and he's reminding him of all of the things that happened during their friendship. We went on adventures, and we used to drink a lot of alcohol together.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Okay, so we have now this word health in the plural is going to be pretty hard to pronounce. Okay, can you say the word health?
Health.
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 Okay, that's good. And we can cheat because the next word is on, so we can say health son. Health son.
he- Health on.
What
Health on.
and what do you think about that vowel sound? Health. Is that a long vowel sound or a short vowel sound? Health.
Yes. Long.
Okay.
Health.
And drunk
Health.
helps. What about drunk? Drunk. Do you think that's a big
Drunk is
sound or a
also
little
long.
sound?
Is
I
long.
think it's short. Drunk. Drunk. Not drunk.
Drunk.
Not drunk,
Yes.
but drunk.
Yeah.
Drunk.
It's drunk. Is short.
Okay.
Yeah. Short.
And drunk healths.
Drunk health.
Don't forget to say and, but it's just an sound. Drunk healths.
And drunk health. And drunk health.
And drunk healths on the. And drunk healths on the.
And drunk health on the
Okay, and then we have sure. Sure.
sword. The sword.
Okay,
The sword.
is that a long vowel sound or is that a short vowel sound?
Yes.
Sure.
Long.
It's very long.
Yes. Long.
Yeah.
Yes.
And drunk,
Sword.
yeah, and drunk healths on the shore.
And drunk health on the sword. The
Okay,
sword.
and then we have the name of a very big lake in South America. Do you know the name? Do you know this lake? Titicaca.
No, this I am first time
Oh,
hearing. Yeah, the
I think that
Titica.
actually I think that's the largest lake in South America. I think it's the largest lake,
Oh,
actually. So
yeah, yes, okay.
and drunk held us on the. Do you know the word shore? Do you know that word shore? Do you know what that means?
Yeah, yeah, it's the ocean
Hmm.
where
Well,
it is
it
related to ocean. Yeah,
yeah, it's where land meets water. So it could be it could be the ocean, but it can also be a river or a lake. Anything. It's where the land
yeah.
and the water meet.
Okay, okay, okay.
So and drunk health on the shore of Titicaca.
Drake house on the shore of the Titicaca.
Okay, so uh, let's start from the beginning. We've told yarns by the campfire in the prairies.
We've told yarns by the campfire in the prairies
Okay, and dressed one another's wounds after trying a landing.
and dressed one another's wounds after trying a landing at the Marcus's
Okay, and drunk healths on the shore of Titicaca.
and drank healths on the shore of Titicaca.
Okay, there are more yarns. There are. What do you think about the vowel sounds? There are.
There
Mhm.
are.
Are those big sounds?
They are, they are or they are. They are.
Can you repeat?
They are or they are.
Are you asking they are or there are? I'm not sure what your
Yeah.
question is. Wait, I'm just going to write something here. Uh, is this what you're asking? I'm just putting something up on the screen because I'm not
Okay.
sure what your question is.
Means
Is
uh,
is is,
okay.
is this what you're asking? Can you see?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yeah. Yes, same. Yes,
Well, okay.
yes, yeah.
Let's say number one. Let's say number one, but let's say the words very clearly separate. Okay, so we have they are, right? Can you say that?
Yes, they are.
Okay. When I say the word they, I'm going to say it really slowly, and you tell me how many sounds you hear at the end. They, they. How many sounds at the end?
The two. They,
They.
they.
Okay. And you know what happens if you have a word that finishes with a vowel sound like e, they finishes with e. And then you have another
They
word that starts with a vowel sound like r, you have to
are.
add extra, you have to make your e extra big. Listen to me say the two words together. They are. I put an extra e in there to separate the two sounds. They are.
They are.
Yeah, so you make
They are.
you make the vowel sound extra big because you have to there are a lot of vowel sounds there and you have to separate the
Yeah,
two words. Say it again.
yeah, yes. They are.
Yes, and that's very clear and it's very good. Okay, it sounds really good. Now, if we look if we,
Yeah,
if we look at number two, okay, I'm just going to say the first word. There, there, there.
yeah.
I'm going to say it very
They
slow.
are.
I'm going to say the vowel sound very slowly. There. How many vowel sounds do you hear in number two? There.
They are. It's two.
Well,
They are.
it could be, but let's pretend it's one. Okay, let's keep it simple. It is. It's actually It could be there. It is. It is two sounds. You're right. Okay, it's two, But what are the two sounds? Let's be honest and say that there are two. What are the two sounds?
They,
The
they,
de there e
they,
there
they,
there.
there,
Listen to number one. They are.
they they are,
They are. That's number one.
they are,
They are.
they are,
Try to make it smoother. They are. Don't stop.
they are,
That's good. Okay. And listen to number two. There, there, there.
there, there.
If you think about standard UK accent, where they don't pronounce the R at the end of a word most of the time, then number one, the vowel sound becomes extremely important because number one is they ya, they ya.
Yes, I am talking exactly, yeah,
Mhm,
this point. They are,
mhm.
yeah,
But
yeah,
number
yes.
two, but if a person speaking standard British English would say number two, it would be number two would be there, there, there,
They are, they
there,
are, they
and
are.
number one is they are.
Okay, they are,
This is why vowel
they are.
sounds are so important in English because of little things like this. Okay. So say number one
Okay.
again.
There are, there are,
Say it together like one word.
there are
How many sounds in they?
one,
And how many vowel sounds in they?
and they one,
Number one has two sounds.
yeah,
they.
yeah, they, yeah,
Uh,
yes, yeah,
And and
they,
then and then e becomes double because the next word is are. They are.
they are.
Say number two.
There are, there are,
Just say the first word.
they are,
The number one. Number one. E. E is
a e,
e, and number two is there, there,
a,
there. Number two. Say number two.
there are,
That's good. Say number one.
yeah, a e, they, they
Hey,
are,
give me a big E. I need to have a big E if you're going to say both of the words. They are.
they are.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Let's go back to what we were reading. And so now we have there. Say there. There. Hello? Uh-oh.
They are,
There. There.
they are,
There.
they are,
There are. There are. There are.
they
There.
are,
Say there. Rar. There. Rar.
are rare.
There are.
There are
That's good. There are more. What do you think about that word more? Is that vowel sound big or small?
as a big. It's a more. It's a
There
more.
there are more.
There are there are more. More.
There are more yarns
There are more yarns
to be told.
to be told.
There are more yarns to be told.
There are more yarns to be told.
Okay. And
And
other.
other
What do you think about that word other? What about the vowel sounds in that word? Other,
uh
other, other.
is small.
Yeah. And we have the word and in front. So those two words together will sound like another, another, another.
Another.
Hmm.
Another.
Another wounds. We've had that word before.
Yeah.
Wounds.
Another wounds.
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 Okay.
Wounds.
Another wounds. And how about to be? To be. Are those big vowel sounds or little vowel sounds? To
Yeah,
be.
the little. Little.
Well, I
This is
think
to
if you
be.
said those words separately, they would be big. But I think that probably in our sentence we can make them pretty small. To be. To be. To be.
As to be. To be.
Wounds to be.
To be.
Wounds to be.
Wounds to be. Wounds to be.
How about that word healed? Healed.
It's healed. Is healed. Is healed.
Healed.
He,
Yeah. Is that big? Uh-oh. Hello?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is
Yes,
that a
sir.
big is that a big vowel sound or a little vowel sound? He
Yeah, it's a big.
Mhm. Tell me that word.
Healed.
Mhm.
Is
Healed.
it? Is it two? Three
It's like
total.
three. It's really three. Healed.
E, healed.
Wounds to be healed.
Wounds to be healed.
Healed. Another wounds to be healed.
Another wounds to be healed. Healed.
Healed. It's got to be big. You got to make it bigger than that. Healed. That's a really big word.
Healed.
Mhm.
Healed.
Other wounds to be healed.
Another wounds to be healed.
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 Healed. Healed. You're pushing
Uh,
back. You're trying to eat the eye, but you have to push it out. So it's not healed. It's healed, and you have to make sure you're pushing it out.
healed. Healed.
That's better.
Healed.
Better. And other wounds to be healed.
Another wounds to be healed.
Okay.
Healed.
You're eating it, but don't eat it. Push it out. You're saying healed. You're pushing down. Push out. Healed.
Healed. Healed.
Healed. And
Healed.
smile. Smile when you're doing it. Healed.
Okay. Healed.
Hmm. And make your tongue really tense. Healed. Your tongue goes like this in your mouth. Like that. Healed.
Healed.
You
Healed.
gotta push out.
Healed.
You got to push out more.
Healed.
It's better.
Healed.
Not healed. If you're saying healed, it's like you're pushing down, but you want to push up. You want to push out.
Healed. Healed.
Healed. That's better. That's better.
Healed.
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 Healed. That's a really hard sound for people to get. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Other.
There are more yarns to be told and other wounds to be healed.
Uh, where is there are more yarns to be told and other wounds to be healed. Healed.
Healed. You
Healed.
yeah,
Healed.
your
Healed.
tongue gets very tight and tense when you say it, and it spreads out wide in your mouth, and you smile when you say it. Healed.
A- Healed.
Healed.
Yield.
That's another one. Healed. And just like when you do the Y, when you do the Y and I think actually you pull your tongue back a little bit. Healed. I do anyway. Healed. Try to
Healed.
that's maybe better.
Healed.
Healed.
Okay.
But also
Yeah.
smile and push out. Healed.
Yield.
That's better.
Yield.
Healed. That's good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. And another, so this will be our final phrase, and I think we'll finish for the night. And another health
Okay.
to be drunk, and another health,
And, and another health to be drunk.
health, health. Is that a big sound, a big vowel sound, or a little vowel sound? Health,
A, a, a little health. It's a
health.
health.
Yeah, you know what it is. I think I'm making the th long. Health. I'm making the th long, not the eh. Okay,
Yes.
another
Yes.
health.
Health. Another health. Health.
Okay, we know to be will also be short. So if we say those 5 words, it would be another health to be, another health to be,
Another health to be. Another health to be.
another health to be drunk.
Another health to be drunk.
Okay, all right. So we've told yarns by the campfire in the prairies.
We have told yarns by the campfire in the prairies.
Okay, and dressed one another's wounds after trying a landing at the Marquesas.
And just one another's wounds after trying a landing.
Uh-oh, I think you disappeared.
Hello, hello, sir.
Okay, you're back. You're back. Go ahead. So,
Yeah.
and dressed one another's wounds after trying a landing at the Marquesas,
And dressed one another's wounds after trying a landing at the Marquesas.
and drunk healths on the shore of Titicaca.
And drank healths on the shore of Titicaca.
Okay, there are more yarns to be told,
There are more yarns to be told,
and other wounds to be healed.
and another wounds to be healed,
Try to pull your tongue back. Healed, like you're doing a Y. Healed.
and other wounds to be healed,
Healed. E. Your tongue is like
healed,
healed.
healed,
That's good.
healed.
That's good. That's better. And another health to
Okay.
be drunk.
And another health to be drunk.
Okay.
Health.
All right. I think we have to finish here for today.
Okay.
Thanks for
Okay, sir.
participating.
Thanks for sir.
And
Thank you
I'm
so much, sir.
tomorrow at the usual time I will be doing Gone with the Wind. So if you want to practice more, I should be
Okay,
back.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
See you.
Thank you for watching, everyone. Have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow at around the same time. Goodbye.